working on for 5 years now. It's like my white
Uh,
whale. I'm finally getting it done. Um, in fact, now I'm at the point where I'm going to be working on the platform, make a display with a couple tracks and the concrete platform it used to have. And I was going to mention, I like how Martin located the depot for his layout because it is on a curve, and that's kind of unique. I don't see that modeled very often. So well done. I like that. And that's something I
I,
want to replicate on the model I do is putting the correct curve in it and having a couple tracks with all the platform details you'll see in a second. So this is kind of where it's standing now. Um, I'll kind of jump around a little bit, but and this is a rags to riches kit I started several years ago for a friend, and I've been adding a lot of details to it that weren't in the kit, such as there's the bars across the windows, the window screens on the bay window, some of the extra trim on the posts on the corners, and extra boards on the under the fascia overlook and things like that. You'll see. Um, and a lot of them I'm taking off from photos I found in books or online. I found some great pictures at the Denver Public Library website that I was able to zoom in and see some details that really surprised me. And then looking at the building today and how it's changed. So this is the front trackside front. Um, my friend I'm giving this to is Jeff Johnson. He's the general manager, and I
yeah,
joke with him because I think he would like to have his window open in his office. This is his office right here. And so he really liked that I left his window open for him. So he could get some
great.
fresh air.
What era are you shooting for, or is it a conglomeration of eras?
It's actually 1947.
Okay.
Um, and there's quite a few pictures of 47, 48 when it had the green roof and a couple differences about it. Quite some. Here's another picture. This is when it had that little shack, little lean-to on the south end. I think it usually it'll be a picture in here of a table in there. I think that was for the carmen to work out of, or the coach cleaners, perhaps. It didn't last very long. Something else you don't see modeled much. There was these bars on this end of the depot, different number of bars on each window, if you count them up. And I think that was just to keep the window from being broken into or broken out of. Uh, that was pretty common in some places at the railroad. This is, see if it'll load that. This is the street side offices. And on the kit, I moved the windows over. In this period, this was the restroom right here. Um, and so I had to add the vents, for the exhaust vents for the restrooms. This one, and there's a one upstairs as well that's still there. I noticed in one picture there's a little telephone sign down here in the corner by the office entrance. So I put that in, and as well as the roof overhang for the office entrance. And this is the front, the trackside front. This ladder appeared in a whole bunch of pictures. I think that was permanent for a while for the guys doing repairs to access the roof. So I put that on, as well as these little rain deflectors. This is, it is a little slow. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is that overhang I added that's still there today, and there was you could see it in some of the picture. One good picture I had of the street side was there as well. In the kit, I had to move. It's hard to see, but there today the door is in this right here. I think that door was right here where the window was, or right over here in the earlier pictures, and it got moved over. It's still the same style door. You can tell as the other doors with the transmitter, and it just it's kind of interesting how they did that. I did find in this kit that it wasn't scaled out the same as the real one because I had to squeeze the door narrower. This should actually come out a little further, I guess, to make that work. But no, you can't really tell.
Yeah.
This is one of the reference pictures I found that I'm working off of. You can see that curve there. I'm going to try to make the concrete platform that curves as well and goes out further from each side, so we could have he could display some automobiles and stuff. And then over here was a wood platform that was built alongside between the tracks, so which is kind of fun. So I'm going to try to model all that. There's a couple other prototype pictures here just to see what I'm kind of trying to shoot at. Here we go. This is the north end My understanding is this was the train master's office as well as the Railway Express Agency office was here, which is kind of fun. So I think in the model, I'm going to have a couple railroad employees chatting with the boss over here. That's pretty normal at the rail yard. This is another good picture of that little shed. There's usually a table sitting in there, and some of the bars on the windows. One thing I still need to add are the lights. I'm going to put a couple of woodland scenic lights on the corners, as well as a few lights inside the building to kind of light it up on display for him.
Suggestion, Sean.
Yes.
I've used woodland scenic lamps like that on a mine kit I built, and they're sort of okay, but because of the wiring, they're not. They look not right,
Okay.
and I'd look a couple of places like Evans Designs, which is in Denver, and uh, oh, what is the one in uh, I think it's Luminaire. I'll have to look real
Okay.
quick and see. But I mean, they worked fine, they wired up fine, but if I was redoing it for that kit, I was disappointed in the Woodland Scenics. It was just too coarse on that, especially when I see that photo there and that anyway, I was learning uh you can do make your own. What some people do is they'll take the magnet wire and thread it through a like a hypodermic needle thing and then bend it from there and so forth. But that's beyond my skill. But if you have a choice other than Woodland Scenics for that, there are other things that are pretty good. There are yard lights I liked and so forth. But the those lights, they just didn't do it for me.
Oh, that's good input. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll definitely look into that. Thanks. I'll just kind of run through the rest of these quick because this is probably getting boring, but there's another good reference picture of the era. You got the ladder, this other vent for the upstairs restroom that's there still today. I added these telephone line, arms here and here. Um, there are some differences, like an extra baggage door that's there then, but it's not here today. So there were definitely some door window changes made to match this era. It's interesting how much the building has changed over the years, and it just seemed to happen. In fact, some of the painting done on this in the same year, I found pictures of it painted differently in the bay window. So it's like they were slowly working on it, and people captured it different times of the year, which is really maddening. You can't decide which one to use,
Yeah.
but uh, but it's fun. So there's another interesting picture. This was in '47, I believe, when the ice house burned down. Uh, and here's the San Juan train with a guy working away. He doesn't seem to care. But the ice house is almost totally gone. This they said this was in '47, but I like it because it shows the detail of the platform, the bars on the windows. This has the station sign. That previous picture it wasn't there. So there were definitely things happening constantly with this building that make it fun to try to peg down a date, a time.
It's
But I'd
like a
like to try to
living.
do this platform and these two tracks with the yard air and the various
Yeah.
things that they would use to service the trains with. Um, this is that north end where the trainmaster's office I was told was. And then this is the roofing. Since we had the diamond shingles, rather than try to buy a whole bunch of these, which I could have, but would have been a little more expensive than I wanted to, I got some pinking shears and just kind of winged it
Inked. Yeah.
and seemed to get this to work. Oh, here we go. Oh, did I just lose it?
No.
What material was that made out of then, Sean?
Um, here. It's made out of, if you can see me, I can show you. It's made out of, I looked around at a lot of places. I found, I think at like a Michael's or one of these, craft paper like this. You can see it. It's just a sheet of green craft paper. It has kind of a neat design to it. You can tell, but um, I could shoot you the specs, but it's just cardstock paper I found in the craft section of like, uh, those craft stores. And then the
Cool.
pinking shears,
Yeah.
they come in different sizes. This is the one I got. It's got the smallest tooth pattern, which ends up being about a scale foot in HO. And I had to buy these on Amazon because everybody else, the stores all sell the larger version, which is too big. It would probably work for S or O scale, if you could tell. There you go. But this one works great. And like, I think I lost it. But what was interesting was several years ago when I was in charge of a project to re-roof our depot, we pulled off the old green roof that was under this is the original green roof that was under the shingles for years and years. I don't know if you can see it.
Wow.
I saved a few good sections, so I had a good reference for the color and the pattern and such. And it varied from dirty to clean. But this are the diamond shingles that we ripped off and threw away. But that there were like two layers of that underneath the wood shingles we tore off, which had to be really heavy. I don't know, crazy. Um, so I kind of used that, and so then it worked out well, cutting those into short pieces and gluing them on. But I don't know if I think I screwed up this. Oh,
Yeah.
but I found doing that it was better to um I can't control where I'm sharing now.
Give it a second to catch up, maybe
Okay, I'm
on
kind
that.
of shooting over. I found that it was easier for me to do short sections. If anyone tries this, I would do them about 3 or 4 inches long because if I did them longer, I had to open and shut the scissors again, and it would mess up the pattern, which you didn't notice until you started, alternating the rows. And so my suggestion would be to do short sections, even though it takes longer to do that. Oh, you're probably not seeing.
Uh, Try the escape key. I don't know. See
Yeah,
if that brings it back.
escape. That's a good idea.
I don't know.
I see you guys. But I'll just describe it. Stop share. So I found that doing that, I think I estimated it took me about 50 hours to roof that building. I was going about on each side of the middle bay roof. It would take me about 4 hours to do 1 vertical inch of roofing,
Oh,
gluing this thing
gee.
on. It was crazy. So that was mostly my winter project was roofing this stupid depot.
Yeah.
Um, but it's done now, so I'm happy.
Now, was it the same type of shingle back in the 30s?
Yeah, they seem to add that on in the 30s and 40s and the 50s, and then it was replaced, I think, in the 60s with wood shingles again. It looked to me like when they ripped it off, if I recall, there were at least 2 layers of that stuff. There was a real lot of roofing on that roof that we took off to put the new stuff on that's on today.
Yeah.
The wood shingles got so bad that year. This was probably about 2012 that we had a big rainstorm in Durango one summer day and it destroyed what was left. It was like literally washing off the building. And so that's when we decided we had to re-roof it. So
Hmm.
that was experience. Anyway, that's kind of my project. I'll try to bring this finished display to the spring meeting and you can see it in person. So
Would like that. Yeah.
Thank
thanks
you.
for letting me share.
Thanks for showing.
Yeah.